Well, the beginning of the game, first Brooklyn executed well and shot the ball really well, but going into the game that's part of the game plan and point of emphasis. And we weren't focused on the right things from a game plan perspective at the beginning of the game. And anytime you get down, 18 or 20 out of the gate, you're going to make it really difficult on yourself. We started defending better, got back in the game, but I think consistently the whole night we weren't as precise and forceful with how we played offense. And we need to be able to get in the lane and break the paint, and whatever we have to do to get that, that takes a collective commitment to those things. And that's something that we've done and something we know what to do, or know how to do, I should say. But again, sometimes one guy's able to do that on his own, but that's not, most of the time, that's hard. You're able to do that if you get stops defensively, and you can do it in transition, but when a defense gets set, you've got to figure out how to do those things, and that means guys connecting with one another. It's not just in a play. It has to be dribble handoffs, pick and rolls, screening actions, all those different things that you have to do as a group to get an advantage in order to generate good offense. And it shows by our assist numbers tonight. It shows by our three-point attempts. I don't know what we ended up with. I think we had 2 in the first quarter. Those things are just, are signs that point to what I'm describing.
Yeah, you kind of touched on what I was going to ask about, how much, especially in the last couple of games you talked about controlling what can be controlled, and how much do you think the poor defense maybe bled into how you guys played offensively?
Well, I think there may have, I think there are two different things, but I do think they impact each other. You can control your urgency on defense and your awareness of three-point shooters and things like that. You can't control whether they may make the shot, but there's times when, if you know that, you can't shift as far off, and you have to be there so they can't shoot. And on the offensive side is, can be more complex than what I just described, but you can control whether you're spaced. You can control how forcefully you run up into a pick and roll. The precision of where you're supposed to, those are the things you can control. And the aftermath of that, those actions that connect players. I mean, you see it on occasion, tonight I should say. We've seen it a lot this year. But the times you saw it tonight, I can picture in my head Bruno in the corner with the handoff, Garrison peeling out on a screen, someone driving the paint, kicking it out, open shot. So, I mean, that's not every possession is going to look like that, but you have to be able to execute possessions like that. If you don't need all that, great. That's good. But, the teams that can, if not, you end up, with 28 three-point attempts and 18 assists, and that's not gonna get it for us.
Quinn, as you look at the,
unless we're laying the ball in.
As you look at the tape in the first half, you were able to get back in the game with turning them over, deflections, and getting in transition, but that did not come around as much in the second half.
Yeah, well. No, go ahead. Finish, Brian. Yeah.
Would that be a point of emphasis as you go back and look at the tape?
I mean, you're just not going to always be able to turn people over, and to the extent you can do that. And I think our effort, not even our effort, our focus, we did get back in the game that way. But it's a good possession defensively if they take a tough shot and you get the rebound. And that may not generate the same offense, so we have to be able to do both. But certainly, relative to what we saw at the beginning of the game, that was a good response. I was happy with that response, and we got back in the game. But we just didn't carry that through. You may not turn them over as much, but if you get stopped, sometimes those turn in buckets. But when the other team's making shots too, you're going to be taken out of the net. You're going to have to score against the set defense as well.
Coach, kind of based off of that, or touching on that, they had 25 points off of your 13 turnovers, but you guys had 14 off of their 10 turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, is that more of the same with transition and defense and just how the transition is going?
Yeah, I mean, you could to go back and look at the, usually you convert those at a higher rate. Let me say that. We had a couple times we didn't. I just want us to attack the rim. Transition makes that easier. There were some possessions that we came up empty in transition that you'd like to score on, but I don't. Our ability to convert in transition, I'm less concerned about than, how we'll play in the half court, collectively.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Thanks.